Hello, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. How are you all doing? We've got loads to talk about tonight. Obviously, Ronaldo is the big news, but how does that impact Manchester United? And there could be a real positive theme, even if he never does come to Manchester United. We'll also be talking about Paul Pogba, lots of things about him again, Alexis Sanchez, and a few other things. And also, if you are missing the World Cup a little bit, we've got a great game that you can play with through Team Huddle, link in the video description. I'll talk about that in a moment. But Manchester United could receive a massive boost in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo. It's maybe not the boost that we would want. It's maybe not the boost that he's going to come back to Manchester United. I think that's looking less and less likely by the minute. But what if he does go to Juventus? Di Marzio's come out with something. George Mendes has spoken to The Record, which I think is a Portuguese outlet, and basically said if Ronaldo was to leave Real Madrid, he'd thank them for everything he's done, but he's looking to go to another big club, another new challenge. Now, does that new challenge close off the door to Manchester United? I think that door's closed anyway. But this Juventus thing is now looking more than a rumour. I laughed at it when I first heard it. It looks like it could well be happening now, which is rather sensational. You've got Guillem Balagué saying that he was offered to Manchester United and Manchester United said no. Now, my theory would it'd be very easy to jump on that as United fans. We've not had a great season. A lot of us weren't happy about Fellaini. We've just signed Stoke's reserve goalkeeper, which I thought was a decent signing for a reserve goalkeeper, but there's an opportunity to jump on Woodward, jump on Mourinho, jump on the club and say we were offered bloody the best player in the world to bring him home and we refused. What sort of idiot have we got in charge? You don't turn that down. But actually, when it comes to Balagué, you pretty much what he says, you flip it the other way. So if he's saying he was offered to Manchester United, I would say he's not been offered to Manchester United. And on top of that as well, if United turned Ronaldo down, I'm sure it would come out, and it would be criminal to do that. But the reality is, would Real Madrid ever deal with us? Would they ever deal with us? Would Ronaldo want to play for Mourinho again? I think those two things are harder to surpass than they're easier to agree. Then they're easier to sort of agree that that's the right thing that's happened rather than United have turned him down. Because I don't think United could it'd be like turning Messi down. I don't think that's the case. But if he does go to Juventus, obviously there's a big part of me that won't be happy about that. But there is a theory that if he goes to Juventus, Juventus will have to. Well, it's not a theory. Juventus will have to raise a lot of money. How they will do that? Well, Pjanic has been linked to Barcelona. Alexandro to Manchester United follows. And maybe Manchester United have said, look, we can't really go in for Ronaldo anyway because it'll be tough with Madrid, but we can certainly drive the price up. We'll stay out of that. We won't get involved in that, knowing that we can't get him anyway. We'll stay out of that, Juventus, if, when you've got the deal done, you give us Sandro. And Juventus might have said, look, as long as you stay out of the bidding war, because you're going to drive the price up, as soon as Ronaldo's done, you can have Sandro for this fee. Because that tends to happen quite a lot. Liverpool did it with Coutinho, didn't they? They had deals agreed before that deal had been done, because it means that you aren't getting held to ransom. So Alexandro will happen as a result of Manchester United, as a result of Ronaldo going to Juventus. More interestingly, is that Manchester Evening News have said, does it open the door to Dybala? Now, Dybala and Pogba are always flirting with each other. They quite rightly said that if Ronaldo came to Manchester United, he plays off the left or he plays up front. And Mourinho's got two untouchables there. Alexis Sanchez, who we'll talk about in a minute, and Romelu Lukaku. So where would Ronaldo fit in? As I said last night, I don't really care if we've got Lukaku or Alexis Sanchez and the Mourinho's untouchables or not. It's like, this isn't an ordinary player. This is Messi or Ronaldo, the best players that there's ever been in the last 30 years. If you get them, you bench Lukaku or you bench Sanchez. It's simple as that. Or you play him off the right, where I think he could play anyway. But they do go on to say that Juventus will need to raise money. Alexandro, obviously, but Dybala comes into that. Because when you actually look at it, and I don't propose any of you would want to look at it, but the reality is the financial package for an Italian club to take on in relation to Ronaldo, who will be one of the two best paid players in the world, for Serie A to do that is stunningly sensational. Financial fair play's hit Inter Milan last summer. It's hit AC Milan now. It's hit other clubs in the past. So for Juventus to take on the Ronaldo, to take him from Real Madrid, still at his peak, and take his wages, which Real Madrid wouldn't pay him, that is sensational for Juventus to do that. Where they get the money, because you can't fudge the figures, especially in Italy, you can't fudge the figures. They can't just, pretend that they found a load of money there. It doesn't matter how rich their owners are. They've got to justify that through sales, through sponsorships, through TV money, through gates, and they can't. They cannot just add Ronaldo and not sell people. So it does leave the door open for Dybala a little bit, but my feeling, and I don't know what you lot think, is Jake the Killer says, does this mean that Martial is leaving? If Ronaldo goes to Juventus, where does Martial go? Juventus was the only outlet for Martial anyway, which we'll speak about in a minute, but where would Martial go? Bayern Munich have said no. Barcelona and Real Madrid won't want Martial, so where would Martial go? Unless we sold him to England, which would be, again, criminal. So I think Martial probably stays at Manchester United, which, you know what, actually, if Martial was being used by Mourinho, the way he was being used up until we signed Alexis Sanchez, part of me would say, if we were getting the Martial that we had for the first 5 months of the season and somebody said to me, would you swap Martial for Ronaldo? Flat no. No, I love Ronaldo, but why would I sell a player that's 22, getting better and better by the month, can be one of the world's best players and could give us 10 years over a player that's been here, left, and coming back at 33 and can give us 2 or 3 years? So, of course, but my concern with Martial is what Mourinho's doing to him. And Mourinho, as I just said there, Sanchez and Lukaku are his untouchables, and where does Martial fit in? Because I don't think he'll use him off the rights, but I think he will stay. So can we get Dybala at Manchester United? Do you think we can? Because to be honest with you, in relation to this, until I read that article, I was like, no, and I still am no. I mean, Dybala would fit in at United because we don't really have that number 10, and you could fit him into other positions as well. I don't think he'll come anywhere near United. I really don't. I think that Juventus will look at other ways, or he will go to Barcelona, but I don't think he'll come to United. I think actually his friendship with Pogba is probably a bad thing, because Griezmann was coming to United last summer, Pogba was his best mate, and then suddenly he's not coming to United anymore. And I just wonder whether this Pogba unhappiness at United, which seems to be a reality, would he tell his mates, steer clear? I don't know, but I don't think we can do Dybala. I don't know what you lot think, but I don't think we can do Dybala. Why bring back Ronaldo, says Gens Tech. I mean, just very quickly, I'll sort of do a screenshot of the live comments. Would you take Ronaldo back at Manchester United? Do you think United should be coming into this? Because you put it up on Twitter or something, and people are very split on it. I mean, I think that United should move heaven and earth to get a player like that. You live one life, and he's still the best player in the world for me. You live one life, bring him back. I mean, how happy would that make me and many Manchester United fans? Yeah, you should never go back. In relation to girlfriends and stuff and boyfriends, you should never go back. But it doesn't mean that people don't go back. And many people take people back. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But I would take him back. And I think it would be a travesty if United weren't at least trying. But I have to believe that United can't try, because either Ronaldo doesn't want to come and play for Mourinho, or Madrid won't do a deal with us like they'll do with Juventus. Let's not remember, last summer, Morata. We were dealing with Morata. We kept hearing 70 million, 80 million. Then he goes to Chelsea for 60. It just shows you that they've not, and Florentino Perez especially, has not got over the De Gea thing. We screwed them on De Gea, and now they screw us over. And I always say it every summer, how can we deal with Real Madrid? And this is probably a prime example. There's an opportunity to get Ronaldo, and I don't think we can do it, because I don't think Real Madrid will deal with us. James Howell says, Ed and the board better not forget we're Manchester United. We should get Ronaldo, Sandro and whomever. I think United can afford it if they want to afford it. I really do. But I just don't think we can do it. It doesn't feel like we can do it. We're not involved. My personal feeling on Ronaldo is that there's more chance of England winning the World Cup, which is quite a good chance. But I think he'll go to Juventus or he'll stay at Real Madrid. I don't see him going anywhere else now. The Snipping Wabbit says Bale over Cristiano Ronaldo only because he's younger. And of course we bring him back. It's Ronaldo, says Iron. Ronaldo loves us. He even said it. He watches us, says Gens Tech. Keep Ronaldo away, says Jacko. Yes, CR7, says Arta. And Christian Sebastian Thomason says no. And Sandro 40 million covers Ronaldo's wages for the year for Juve, says Vabif Achara. Look, I'm very happy anyway that we're going to get Sandro. I think that's massively important for United. But just going on to one other thing I did want to mention. One other thing that did sort of drop into my head is that Alexis Sanchez has got to have a good season next season, hasn't he? Because I wouldn't say it's bordering on a flop, but that first 5 months was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. By the standard he's meant to be, by the highest paid player in the Premier League, which he is, he was rubbish. I think he only got away with it because people felt sorry for him, or he's got a bit of a fan club amongst United fans. Because actually, what he did to Martial, what he did to Pogba, what he did to Lingard, what he did to Rashford, and when I say what he did, I don't mean him. I've got nothing against him. It's not his fault. What his signing did. Because Lingard disappeared from Messi Lingard for the last 3 months of the season. Pogba, we know, went poor. Rashford hardly got a look in. And Martial didn't either. So that's 4 players. 4 fan favourites effectively, ruined by the signing of Sanchez. We now go into another season, and I think I personally feel that the Sanchez signing means that maybe United wouldn't be in for Ronaldo now. Certainly the number 7 shirt's not available. So the Sanchez signing has to work. It has to work, and I don't think it gets enough focus really, because I think the Alexis Sanchez signing back in January, and I fell into the trap of, this is going to be great, he's going to be a right winger. I think a lot of people got pulled in by that, but actually 5 months later it's been a disaster. We've given somebody else a new signing, the number 7 shirt again, and it's failed. It messed up our season massively, and it messed up some of our key players. That's not to say it won't be sorted out. I've seen that he looks like he's training hard, which he said he was going to do. My only concern with Alexis Sanchez is what some Arsenal fans said. Actually, he was playing crap for the months before you bought him. He's on the decline. If he's on the decline, we can't do anything about it. Rooney was on the decline at 29. If Sanchez is on the decline, there's nothing we can do about it. If it's just he had a mixed bag season and he now he's going to get a full summer with no international football, and he's going to come back hungry, and we're going to get the real Alexis Sanchez again, we're laughing. But that has got to work, because and a lot of people are saying, and I think this is where I will defend Fellaini, is that a lot of people are saying that Fellaini staying will look back as that was the point where Mourinho got himself sacked. I personally think that when you really think about it, if Alexis Sanchez flops, that's going to be the signing that gets Mourinho the sack, because that has messed up so many players. Whether it's Sanchez wandering into Pogba's position, whether it's Sanchez taking game time away from Martial and Rashford, and whether it's bad form, or whether he's taken the number 7 shirt, or whether we could have waited. If we hadn't signed Sanchez and we'd let him go to Man City, or we'd waited till the summer, maybe we would have got him for Ronaldo. Maybe we would have got Bale. It's all speculation, but that signing has to work. And in many ways, it's a bit like a new signing, isn't it? Rupin says, I'd take him, but he's not coming. I know you don't rate Balaguer, but he has reported meetings between Mendes and Florentino last night. Okay, Juve. Okay. And Carlos Solis says the board shouldn't even consider not getting Ronaldo. In less than 6 months, we can get back the money. Doesn't matter if it's 100 million or 150 million. And that's a very good point when people start speculating about Juventus and how much they're going to pay for Ronaldo. The amount of money he's going to bring into Juventus is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Juventus, if anyone's ever watched That's Football and we're talking about stuff away from Manchester United, Juventus have been my Italian team for years and years and years. Years and years and years. And there's a big reason for that. Half my side, not blood. My stepfather's side of the family is Italian. And also, he supports Notts County, who Juventus have their kit from Notts County, who are the oldest team in the world. Their black and white stripes come from Notts County. So I've always had an affiliation to Juventus. There's a great programme on tonight. Actually, I've got it on record now on BT Sports about Serie A and Golazzo and all that, and how it all started on Channel 4 in the early 90s. So I've always loved Italian football. And I think what Italian football's doing at the moment, and this is Manchester United related, don't worry, is that there's a lot of signings going on in Serie A at the moment that you may not be aware of because it's all Premier League and World Cup in this country. But if you keep your ear to the ground like I do around Europe, there's actually a lot of deals being done by Inter Milan, Juventus, not AC Milan, but there's a lot of things going on. And it was a great season last year. And if they add Ronaldo to that league, I'm telling you what, we get very arrogant in Premier League. We get very arrogant in La Liga. They're the 2 best leagues in the world. I tell you what, Serie A's coming back. And you add someone like Ronaldo to that, and Juventus are going to make so much money off him. Even off his social media alone, he's got millions of people following him. He goes to Juventus. Loads of people are going to support Juventus. His fan base is huge. I'm telling you now, it's a fantastic signing for them. Remember, smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 500 likes while we're live. Dear board, please bring our boy back home, Cristiano Ronaldo. And that's from Pradnya Wadki. I'm going to take more of your comments in a moment. Nainggolan went to Inter. Yes, he did. DG1. Kovacic or Toni Kroos need a transfer, says RDZ. But you're dealing with Real Madrid again there. Of course, the flip side I must bring into this as well. It's a hard show tonight because there's so many spiders' webs and tangents here that I need to discuss with you. But we've spoken about if Ronaldo goes to Juventus and how that can help United with Sandro and maybe a Dybala, which I don't think we can, but definitely a Sandro. We've spoken about the disappointment that United aren't in for him, but maybe we can't be. Maybe Balaguer's right. If it ever comes to light that United have said they're not interested in Ronaldo, then I'm sorry, I'm disgusted by the club. But I'm going to have to not believe that because it makes me so mad to believe it. I don't think there's any evidence of it, apart from Balaguer, who's so inaccurate, I refuse to believe it. But if it ever did come out that United had said they're not interested in Ronaldo, I'd be bloody furious with Mourinho, and I'll be bloody furious with the club. It'd be an absolute travesty. You don't turn down the world's best player for £100 million. And that would make me feel that we are no longer the theatre dreams. We're just a bank. We're just a bank taking people's money and putting the bare minimum out and taking profits out of the club, and that would make me sick. But we don't know that yet, and we don't know what business we're going to do at Manchester United. So let's have a look at that. So Ronaldo goes to Juventus. What do Real Madrid do? They lose the world's best player, the most iconic player at their club. They're not just going to sit back and go, yeah, that's fine. They're going to go for Neymar, or they're going to go for Mbappe, or they're going to go for both. That's what they're going to do. And Hazard can get a little, stonk on thinking that they're going to go for him. But Eden Hazard doesn't replace Ronaldo. Eden Hazard could barely replace Salah or De Bruyne at Man City and Liverpool. He can't replace Ronaldo. If Ronaldo goes, they're going to go for Mbappe, or they're going to go for Neymar. And I think that's why Real Madrid came out with those official lines that they hadn't put any bids in, because they're trying to keep PSG sweet. So Ronaldo goes Juventus, and then Real Madrid get Mbappe or Neymar or both. Does Bale still leave? Are United in for Bale? That is a possibility. Or if they only bring Mbappe or Neymar in, one of them, they probably keep Bale, which means United don't get the marquee signing, because Griezmann's staying, Ronaldo's gone, Bale stays, Mbappe's going to Real Madrid. There's no marquee signing left for us. We ain't going to get Neymar. So that's it. We're not getting a marquee signing. We're probably just going to get Sandro and Willian, and our business will be Fred, Sandro, Dalot, Willian, and that's it. Which, to be honest, isn't going to close you a 20-point gap against Man City, but it is progression, which we keep getting under Mourinho. So it is interesting. I think even if I always felt that if Ronaldo went to Juventus, I always felt that when Ronaldo decided his move, that would cause the domino effect that might pull United into some deals. But actually, I think when Ronaldo goes to Juventus, we'll still be left thinking, well, who are Real Madrid going to replace him with? Are they going to replace him with two? And does that put Bale on the market? And then do we do that? But it's a stunning thing. And I think when you look at it, if somebody said 2 or 3 months ago that Ronaldo will definitely leave Real Madrid, you'd be saying it's us. Or PSG, you'd say no one else can afford him. Bayern Munich can't afford him. There's no Italian clubs that can afford him. And then Juventus do it, which is amazing. Jay Coulthurst says 5-2-1-2 with wing-backs. Sandro and Valencia, Dalot wing-backs. Lindelof, Godin and Bailly. Defences, Pogba and Fred. Sanchez, Lukaku and Ronaldo. Semi-affordable. I mean, Manchester United can afford Ronaldo. They can. It's just whether they could do a deal with Madrid, and it doesn't look great at the moment. And I think we need to accept that. And unless it officially came out that United didn't want him, then I don't think there's any reason to get mad about this deal, because we just don't know. We were not involved in Sanchez as well. We have a habit of coming in late. It will happen, says Hemorrhage. Well, there you go. There's still some positivity around there. What I would say as well is that there was a good article on Sport Witness about an hour ago, and they said, actually, all this talk of Juventus and personal team terms agreed and all that, it's not actually happened. It hasn't happened. It's in Real Madrid's court to decide what happens. So there you go. Let's be realistic. If United had a chance to sign Ronaldo, who would never have been heavily linked to Juventus, says the Football Twins. And Mark, could we play Fred in a centre attacking midfield role? Suspend Smith. But Fred... I hope Belgium knock Brazil out tomorrow night. I really do, because I want it to happen for Lukaku and Fellaini, obviously. But Fred is never going to play for Brazil. And the sooner... I mean, it's only a week now. It hardly even matters. I mean, Friday and then a week on Sunday is the World Cup final. So 1 week doesn't make a lot of difference. But it could make a world of difference, because Fred's not going to be on the US tour, is he? We go on the US tour in a week's time. But basically, all he's done for the last 6 weeks is train with the Brazil team. He's not getting any game time. We don't know anything about him. And we need him to start the season. So I can tell you that Fred can play as a CDM, as a normal box-to-box, as an attacking midfielder. But actually, until he comes to the Premier League and we see what he's all about, it's just speculation. For his previous club in the Ukrainian League, Shakhtar Donetsk, he played in a multitude of positions, but until we get him here, we don't know. We don't know. Mark, when do you think next news about Alexandro comes? I think Juventus has I think when Juventus have got to get this deal over the line with Ronaldo, and that's all they'll be focused on at the moment. So there'll be no Sandro deal until Ronaldo's done. Uday Ratud says, if Ronaldo goes to Juventus, then Mark, please get this super chat money changed into coins and throw on Ed's face on my behalf, please. Thank you. I do sense that there are some United fans who are not happy about it, but we don't know the politics of it. I think the most important thing is that United didn't say they weren't interested. If they said they weren't interested, this club is finished. You cannot refuse that sort of a player. It would be ridiculous because we want to save money. You've got billions in that club over the last sort of 10 years. Spend some of the bloody money that the fans put in. But I don't think that's the situation. I don't. I think Real Madrid have said you can go, but you're not going to Manchester United unless they give us 200 million. And Italy is the sort of place that suits everybody, doesn't it? But it's not agreed yet. Why do you think that Mbappe will not come to us, says Prashu 4785. Why would Mbappe come to Manchester United? Why would that happen? I mean, I'd be happy if it did happen, but why would he come here? When he sees the way that things are done at Manchester United, why would he come here? I mean, we could play him off the right with Sanchez off the left and Lukaku up front. We could do that, but I don't see him coming to Manchester United. I really don't. Just talking about the French squad though, and very encouraging this, Hugo Lloris has said that Paul Pogba is a great leader. He's a fantastic leader around the squad, and they wouldn't be where they were without him. Spoke very, very positively about Paul Pogba, which I think hopefully we'll see some of that next season, because I don't really think we've seen it at United. He seems to go in his shell a bit there. Maybe because of the shadow of Jose Mourinho, because he's such a dictator as a manager in the nicest possible way. Mourinho is Mourinho, isn't he? We all know that. We knew that before we got him. So maybe Pogba feels a little bit intimidated by him. He can't express himself, but I was surprised when I saw that Lloris said that, because I don't really see Pogba as a leader yet. But I think amongst the French team, because it's so young, I think Pogba feels experienced and feels he can express himself as a team leader there. He can't do it at United, and hopefully he can come back and do that. Also, some real positivity around Andreas Pereira. Mentioned him this morning, I think, that a player that I've really liked for many years, and I've always wanted him to be given a chance. We know he's back at United training, and he's also given an interview today saying that he's spoken to Jose Mourinho, that he wants to stay at the club, and Mourinho has said he will be given a chance. Now that, to me, is real positive, and that, to me, if he is going to be given a chance, maybe we don't go for another midfielder, because I believe in Pereira. I do believe in Pereira. I think he can be a really good player for us. I think he's going to struggle to get on the bench, but that's his first aim, is to be a bench player for us next season and then force your way into the first team, because I think he's fantastic. But I also think that I read something today. Let me just read this out, because I think as a Manchester United fan, when you read this, you either go one way or the other. So let me read this to you, because I know it was retweeted off our official Twitter account, so I know it will be there. So let me get it for you, and I'll tell you what it says. So, here we go. United have only made one significant signing, sold none of our Deadwood, let a fringe player hold us to ransom, and signed Stoke's backup keeper. That's where we are at the moment. We've made one significant signing, Fred, sold none of our Deadwood, let a fringe player hold us to ransom, Fellaini, and signed Stoke's backup keeper. So you can read that and you can be like, oh my God, we're in a right mess. But there's still 5 weeks of this window left. And I keep saying this. Look, at the moment, it may not be ideal. But I was saying this morning on That's Football, this is probably the worst year that the Premier League could have announced that they're going to they're going to close the transfer window early. Because it messes everybody up after a World Cup. There's so much going on. And I just think that we need to see what happens. I think Darmian and Blind can leave this club very quickly, and I think they will do. So that'll be 2 of the Deadwood gone. Fellaini was meant to be the 3rd, but he isn't going. So who else will go? Well, I still think that either Smalling or Jones could go, and maybe should go, because we don't need both of them if we're trying to build a stable centre-back. I still think Mata is an interesting one as well, although I would hope that we're going to keep Mata. I think Herrera's looking safe now. So I still think that in relation to the Deadwood, I think we'll move some out. Who's going to come in? Well, who's going to come in is very interesting, isn't it? Because maybe the plan was, as I said the other day, and I got a lot of people moaning about this, but Mourinho had put these quotes out, that a midfielder and a defender was all he was looking for this summer. And that he said that 2 or 3 times in the last 6 months of the season, most recently as April. I'm only looking for a midfielder and a defender. Well, he's got a midfielder and a defender, hasn't he? The fortunate thing is that Dalot is not a defender he's looking for because he's one for the future, but Fred's the midfielder. Sandro comes in, maybe that's it. Fred and Sandro. Sanchez came in January, maybe that's it. Of course, I don't think any of us think that that's enough, but maybe that is it. Graham Outerbridge says, Mark, why do we have a director of football, and if not, why? Didn't Giggs identify Mbappe a couple of years ago when he was available for 5 million? Giggs identified Martial as well, but the last I heard about a director of football is that we were looking to appoint one, but only for sort of commercial reasons, and that Mourinho wanted to retain total control of transfers. So, yes, there we go. Go7 says, would you consider a Rashford loan? I mean, when you look at Manchester United's attacking options, you've got Lukaku, you've got Alexis Sanchez, you've got Jesse Lingard. They're 3 who will definitely be there next season. Rashford, 4, definitely there next season. And then you've got Mata and Martial, who, if they are there, that's 6 players for 3 positions. One more would be nice, but then one more means less game time for the fringe players, doesn't it? So I think we're in for an interesting few weeks for Manchester United. I mean, the funny thing is, it's only 2 weeks tonight that we play our first US Tour game. 2 weeks, and Manchester United are playing their first US Tour game. I think it's an early start, so we'll be doing watch-alongs for that. So keep your eye out for that. But 2 weeks, we're on the US Tour. That takes 2 weeks, and then you've got 1 week till the start of the season. So we're going to be kicking off against Leicester very, very soon. And I just think things are going to happen in this transfer window that are unprecedented in such a short period of time. Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid is going to be massive. And then what Real Madrid to react to that is going to be massive. And then maybe Barcelona will do something to react to that. And then Juventus is going to will sell people to react to that. And it's just going to be a mad 4 or 5 weeks. It's how involved United are going to be in. United might just be simply Alexandro, shut the doors, that's it. Is that going to be enough? I think my expectations will still be very low for the new season, but it will be a better team for having a left back and another midfield option. But a lot will have to improve. But then that comes from the training round. Dave B says Mark is not accepting that Mourinho is not wanted. I may be naive, but I still retain that the majority of Manchester United fans are like me, that they want Mourinho to have this final year. Jeff Hepner, thanks for the contribution. What channel is the Manchester United versus Leicester game on? Says Salim Hussein. They haven't announced the TV games yet, so I don't think we should know quite soon, but I don't think they've announced any of the TV games yet. So everybody's 3 o'clock on that Saturday, aren't they, at the moment? Is Fred that good? He's not playing for Brazil, but Coutinho, Willian and Firmino all do, says Juan. He's well thought of. He is well thought of, but none of us are going to know how good Fred is until he starts playing for Manchester United. And you can talk about how good his form is in Brazil, and how well he's thought of in Brazil. You can talk about how he's done for Shakhtar Donetsk, but the reality is that none of us know at the moment. In relation to Ronaldo, when will it be done? I think we'll know something in the next day or two. I really do. I think it will get sorted very, very quickly. There's so many leaks at the moment, and a lot of us will always want him to come. Selwyn Greenidge says 1 more year and he has to go. Well, we've spoken about that many times. It's not controversial to say that if we don't win the league next year, he's probably got to go. Darth Vader, I'm absolutely loving it on Twitter at the moment. So many of these It's Coming Home songs clipped onto classic sitcoms and films. It's great. And of course, the World Cup's back tomorrow, so I must just say that we will be 9 o'clock tomorrow night, straight after Brazil versus Belgium will be live. Not the normal 8 o'clock because of the World Cup game. So, yes. But we're not done here yet. Please do drop a like on the video. Let's see if we're nearly at 500. Let's see if we can get to 1,000. And it's great to have so many people back watching. I think over the World Cup, the viewing figures were like down at 1,600, and we're nearly double that again. So everyone's coming back to Manchester United, which is great because we are getting closer to the end of the World Cup, and we're getting closer to what, this is a defining summer for Manchester United. Has it been good enough yet? No, it hasn't. Can it still be good? Of course it can. There's plenty of time left, so it can be fine. We don't know the squad numbers yet, so no, Daniel Pollard, we don't. Announce Sandro, says Selwyn. And Mark Mourinho, if this season's a success, again, no success again, should he go? V4 Digital Media UK. Look, at the end of the day, if we don't win the title next season, unless we lose out by a couple of points and we've played the best football we've seen in a decade, he has to go. Of course he does. But if we don't win the league, can you see Jose staying on longer, says Vince Chapman. Well, I can, but I don't think he will. Yeah. I don't think he will. Every summer is defining summer, apparently, says Johnny H. Yeah, but I think under Mourinho, each summer has become more defining because we haven't won the league. And he always wins the league in the first 2 years. And we got smashed last year, 20 points. So that's why it's such a defining summer for Manchester United. Definitely is. Anyway, let's have a little talk about Team Huddle, which is a link in the video description. It's an app you can play. If you've been getting a little bit of World Cup withdrawal, all you've got to do is download this app and you will go into a free draw only exclusively to the United Stand to win an international shirt of your choice. Maybe go for England, but you might fancy Belgium or Brazil. So everybody who downloads the app and enters will go in the draw for that, which we'll announce tomorrow, I think it is. So how does it work? So Team Huddle, it's free to play. So you team up, and then as soon as you download the link in the video description, it will take you to this thing here. I have a team, it's called the Goldbridge team, and basically all you've got to do is predict the scores for the 4 games that are coming up over tomorrow and Saturday. So England, Sweden, Croatia, Russia, Belgium, Brazil, and France against Uruguay. Put your prediction in there, and we all predict as a team. So if you sign up through the link in the video description, you'll automatically go into Team Goldbridge. And then 5 minutes before kickoff tomorrow, it accumulates all our predictions and comes out with a mean average of those. And we compete against other teams within Team Huddle. We also compete amongst ourselves. And what happens is, as I'll show you there, because I've just been through all that, and you compete amongst each other, but you also compete amongst yourselves. So if I show you the actual team bits, is when you log on, it'll go like that. Team Goldbridge there. And as you can see, we've got a few players already, but you'll see some people have 3 stars, 2.5 stars, and that's because the more you play it, the more status you get, and you become like an expert within the Huddle. On top of that, within Team Goldbridge, if you so wish, you can also compete in the competitions, where actually that's shot up quite a lot now. For a £1 entry fee, your score predictions go into a pot against everybody else's score predictions, and the person who gets the most points wins that pot, which at the moment is 38 quid. So quite a few people have got involved in that. So the link is in the video description for it. All you got to do, it's free unless you want to play the competition, which you've got to be over 18 and do gamble responsibly, because it is technically gambling, isn't it? So that's only if you want to play in the pot for £1. But the normal game is free. The link is in the video description. This is the team, Team Goldbridge, and we compete with it against ourselves, but also against other people. And also, on top of that, if you go back here, you can also make your own team up. As long as you've got 3 people in it, so you need to invite people, you could make your own team up and compete against Team Goldbridge. So Team Huddle, link in the video description. World Cup games, you've got to get it done an hour before kickoff tomorrow, because it's for the World Cup games. Get on it like a car bonnet and give it a go. I think we'll have a lot of fun with that, and we'll keep up to date tomorrow night and see how we're doing as well. Right. My live comments have disappeared there. Mark, you must be blind not to realise Jose is the antithesis of Man United tradition, says Have a Word. The proof will be in the pudding. I hope it's not a rice pudding, because I don't like it. But the proof will be in the pudding with Mourinho. In a year's time, he'll either be gone or we'll be Premier League winners, won't we? I think anything, if we're not Premier League winners or we haven't won the Champions League, he'll be gone. Because I speak to people like Flex and Rants who go to a lot of the games, and they say, look, you don't realise that actually at the ground there's a lot of uncertainty from last season, and there's a lot of people not happy. If we have a couple of bad results in the first 2 months, Mourinho is going to be under massive pressure, and Woodward can say what he likes about backing him, and Mourinho can say what he likes about the board backing him, but when you start losing a lot of the fans, it doesn't matter. Your neck's on the chopping block, isn't it? And I've always said that I can't think of a manager in history who, they've started off well, but as soon as it starts going bad, they get it back to being good again. It never really happens in football. So at the moment, I think he's fine, but if it goes bad next season, I don't think he'll recover and he'll have to go. But I'm hoping, and we've started every season under Mourinho. Granted, there's only been 2. we've started off really well. So I think we'll start off well. It's what's happening in October, November time will define our season, I think. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. That was a hell of a show to get through. So many points. So thanks everyone who's been patient and listened and put comments in. And I know I've seen a lot of debate going on in the live comments, which is great as per usual. You are fantastic. And if you didn't watch live, get your comments in below. I also just want to say as well, from now on, I do read a lot of comments. I try to reply to a lot, but we get so many comments on the videos below, not live comments, the comments below. But I do read a lot, and I'll just tick them or I'll give it a heart if I think it's a good comment. From now on, I'm going to start pinning my favourite comment of the day on each video. So put a comment below, and if you never know, you might be pinned at the top, which normally means you get loads of likes and loads of interaction. So get your comments in below, and we're going to start pinning what we think is the, it doesn't necessarily the best, just one that really sort of grabs our attention. So whether you're watching, if you're not watching live, that's for you. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do drop a like on the video. Back tomorrow morning at 7 AM with the Transfer Daily. Have a fantastic evening. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Going off on lots of tangents tonight, but it's interesting, isn't it? Ronaldo's probably going to Juventus, but how that impacts on us is going to be quite interesting. I certainly think it will mean Sandro done, which is a positive, even if I'm sad that we won't be getting Ronaldo. Thanks, Palish. He says he loves me, and a lot of people said it. That's nice. It's always nice to get nice comments. Get on to Team Huddle. Link in the video description. It is only open to UK. This is only open to UK. They told me that today, unfortunately. Sometimes it's worldwide, and I know we've got a worldwide fan base. So Team Huddle, if you're based in the UK, get on, join my team, get your predictions in, and let's see if we can be the #1 team on Team Huddle, because we're competing against each other and lots of other people as well. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.